Students, you have already learned what is endosmosis and exosmosis in the previous class. Now let's talk about the tonicity. What is tonicity now? It is the relative concentration of the solutions that determine the direction and extent of diffusion is called tonicity. Relative concentration of the solutions. That means there has to be, it is a comparison between the two solutions. So there is relative concentration of the solutions that determine the direction and extent of diffusion is called tonicity. Now according to this tonicity, that is based on it, the solution can be of three types. There can be three types of solutions based on tonicity. It can be isotonic solution, hypertonic solution and hypertonic solution. Now let's know what is meant by isotonic solution. In isotonic solution, what happens? The relative concentration of the water molecules and the solute on either side of the, you can say, let us say this is a cell. The relative concentration of the solute and the water molecules on either side of the cell, that is the cell membrane, is same. The relative concentration of water molecules and the solute is the same on both the sides. That means inside it is same and outside it is the same. Concentration is there. So what will happen? As you have already learned about the endosmosis and exosmosis, can you say, will osmosis be seen here? No. What will happen over here? In such a solution, there is no net movement of water in and out of the cell membrane. So you will not be able to see the net movement of water. Net movement of water will not be seen. So if it is so, can you tell about the shape of the cell which is kept in the isotonic solution? The shape of the cell will remain the same. The shape will remain the same. Now, let's take what is hypertonic solution. Hypotonic solution. What happens in hypertonic solution? The solution outside the cell. Let us take this diagram only. The solution which is outside the cell is having higher solvent. It is having higher solvent concentration but low solute concentration. Hypertonic solution, what happens? The solution which is outside the cell has got lower solute concentration than the fluids inside the cell. Fluid inside the cell is having higher solute concentration. Outside the cell is having lower concentration. That means outside it is dilute solution, inside it is concentrated solution. Now think in terms of this. Number of molecules of water. Number of molecules in water. Dilute solution. I said it is the dilute solution. That means the number of molecules in dilute solution will be more and the number of molecules in the concentrated solution will be less. So what will happen? The movement will be, the water will start moving from outside to inside. Do you remember what type of osmosis will take place? It will be endosmosis that will take place. So over here, when this is a cell, what will happen to the cell when it is kept in the hypertonic solution? It will become turgid. It will become bigger in size. And we call this, it will swell up. The cell will swell up. Now you have to learn a new term. We are not going to use swell up again and again. We will start using the term turgid. What has happened to the cell? The cell has become turgid. If you forget, it's okay, but try to remember this term. Okay now. So what is hypertonic solution? Hypertonic solution, it is a solution in which the relative concentration outside the cell, that is the solution which is outside the cell, has got lower solute concentration than the fluid inside the cell. As a result, the water molecules will move from outside to inside. That means endosmosis will take place and the cell will become turgid. Now let's take what is hypertonic solution. By looking at this word hypo means lower, hyper means higher. So I think so you can easily, without my telling you also, you will be able to tell easily what is hypertonic solution. In hypertonic solution, what happens? In this condition, the solution outside the cell has higher solute concentration. Over here, it is a higher solute concentration than the fluid inside the cell. Now, concentration is high. Water concentration is, what will you say? Water concentration is, what is it? Less. It is less outside the cell and is more inside the cell. So what will happen now? The water molecules will move from higher concentration to lower concentration. Can you imagine now? The water is leaving the cell. The water is leaving the cell. So what will happen to the cell? The cell will ultimately become flaccid. Again, a new term has come up. We use the word turgid when it swells up, flaccid when it shrinks. So students, learn these two new terms that is here now. That is, when a cell is kept in the hypertonic solution, there will be exosmosis. Now this can be seen in an experiment. Let us take a beaker. In first beaker, let us put the isotonic solution. Second beaker, hypertonic solution. Third beaker, hypertonic solution. So if we put a cell in hypertonic solution, come on, easily now you can say what will happen to the cell. The cell, there will be no net movement of water molecules. So what will happen? The shape of the cell will remain the same. Now let's take this hypertonic solution. Hypertonic solution means it is dilute solution outside and concentrated solution inside. So what will happen? Endosmosis will take place. Endosmosis will take place and the cell will become turgid. What will happen to the shape? It will increase in size. That means the cell has become turgid. Okay. Now, if we put the cell in hypertonic solution, please recollect what it is. The concentrated solution is outside. That means water molecules outside is less and inside the cell it is more. So the water molecules will move from the cell to the outside. So what will happen to the cell? As it is losing water, it will shrink. And what type of osmosis will take place? It will be exosmosis that is taking place. And what will happen to the shape of the cell? The cell will shrink. And we say that the cell has become flaccid. Okay students, now we will talk in a next class when in the same solutions, if we put a plant cell, the same thing will happen. If you put an animal cell or the plant cell, same thing will happen in the plant cell also. But there is one very striking feature that will happen when you put the plant cell in the hypertonic solution, and we will talk about this in a next segment.